Eritrea, a small nation on the Red Sea, is often called Africa's North Korea for its secrecy and isolation. Today, Eritrea stands at a crossroads, facing mounting dangers from both within and beyond its borders. Its strategic coastline draws the attention of global powers like the US, China, and the UAE, all vying for influence over its vital ports. This international interest brings pressure, forcing Eritrea to navigate a perilous diplomatic landscape. The government in Asmara, shaped by decades of struggle, remains deeply suspicious of outsiders, rejecting most international cooperation. While this has preserved its independence, it has left Eritrea isolated and vulnerable as new threats emerge. After gaining independence from Ethiopia in 1993, hopes were high, but a devastating border war in the late 1990s pushed the country into permanent military readiness. Life in Eritrea is now defined by discipline and resilience, but also by fear and constraint. The world has often overlooked Eritrea, but its current crisis is impossible to ignore. The nation's future hangs in the balance, shaped by its history and the storm clouds gathering around it. Eritrea's story is one of survival, but for how much longer? Eritrea's threats aren't distant, they're right next door. Relations with Ethiopia have collapsed, with both sides massing troops along the border and Ethiopia openly demanding access to the Red Sea. To the west, Sudan's civil war has unleashed chaos, sending refugees and fighters across Eritrea's frontier and creating a lawless, unpredictable border. The Red Sea itself is now a militarized zone, with attacks on shipping drawing in foreign navies and raising tensions. Eritrea's long coastline has become a front line in a global security crisis, forcing the country to tread carefully amid foreign warships and regional instability. Surrounded by conflict, hostile Ethiopia, collapsing Sudan, and a dangerous sea, Eritrea faces a perfect storm. The government's response has been to turn inward, doubling down on isolation. But what once seemed like strength now feels like a trap, cutting Eritrea off from potential allies and support. The nation is boxed in, its options narrowing as the fires of conflict burn ever closer. Eritrea's survival strategy is being tested as never before. Inside Eritrea, the government's grip is absolute. President Isaias Afwerki has ruled since independence, with no constitution, no parliament, and no dissent. National service, meant to last 18 months, often stretches for years, trapping young Eritreans in endless labor for the state. This policy has driven thousands to flee, risking their lives across deserts and seas for a chance at freedom. Eritrea's youth are its main export, draining the country of its future and deepening despair among those left behind. The economy is stagnant, jobs are scarce, and poverty is widespread. Isolationist policies have cut Eritrea off from the global economy, fueling frustration even among former loyalists. The fortress built to protect Eritrea now feels like a prison, with internal pressure mounting and hope fading. The silent crisis inside Eritrea grows louder each day. Eritrea's foreign policy is a game of shadows, secretive, shifting, and deeply suspicious of alliances. After siding with Ethiopia in the Tigray War, relations have soured, and Eritrea is now accused of supporting factions opposed to the peace deal. Asmara's strategy is to keep rivals weak and divided, making it a difficult partner and leaving it isolated in Africa. Eritrea rarely joins regional efforts, preferring to act alone or form temporary alliances that serve its interests. When Ethiopia struck a deal with Somaliland for sea access, Eritrea quickly aligned with Somalia and Egypt to counter Ethiopia. This pragmatic, reactive approach wins short-term partners but few lasting allies, leaving Eritrea vulnerable. Proxy conflicts with Ethiopia have escalated, with both sides accused of backing opposition groups to destabilize each other. This tit-for-tat creates a cycle of instability, making lasting peace elusive. Eritrea's shadow games may protect its interests for now, but they deepen its isolation and risk greater conflict. In 2025, Eritrea is a nation on edge, squeezed by external threats and internal pressures. War with Ethiopia is a real risk, but a grinding proxy conflict seems more likely, trapping Eritrea in endless crisis. The world can no longer afford to ignore Eritrea. Instability here could disrupt global trade, spark refugee crises, and empower extremists. The dream of independence has faded for many Eritreans, especially the youth, who face a bleak choice: endless service or dangerous escape. The government's control may keep order, but it cannot suppress the desire for freedom and a better life. Eritrea stands at a crossroads: continue isolation and confrontation, or open up, reform, and seek peace. Real change would require courage and new leadership, something that, for now, seems distant. Eritrea's silent struggle continues, its fate tied to the peace and security of the entire region.